It's no big deal.
Okay, now we're
There
good.
we go. Okay, so we're talking about Harry Potter.
Right.
So we talked about you reading the book, and which I'm trying to just go for the podcasters, and that you knew all about Harry Potter when it first started. I didn't know anything about Harry Potter. So we had a friend who basically was like, come with me to watch this movie. It's about wizards. And I'm like, nope, not sold on this. I don't want to, I'm not sold. I'm the type of person I need to be there before everything starts. I don't want to be there before the previews of the other movies shown. I don't want to see anything. I want to be there first when there's nobody there. We show up so late that the movie is not starting, but it's about to. It's like the starting credits, I guess you go. Like, it's like,
the
there's
Warner
no...
Bros. Or
yeah. And I have to sit in the front row. Like the
so
very
you're like
front.
this.
So literally I am looking up to the heavens because I am so uncomfortable. And all I can say is I'm like, this movie better be good because I'm not interested in this movie. Like, all I could think about is I could take a nap right now. Like, I don't want to be here.
I have slept in.
And
I've paid to sleep in
me
a
too.
movie theater before.
True Lies. With,
it was Dumb and
Arnold
Dumber
Schwarzenegger.
too.
I went to see it 4 times and fell asleep 4 times.
Really?
Yeah, that's how bad. I actually spent money 4 times to see True
Well,
Lies.
you didn't decide after the second time, like maybe I
No,
shouldn't.
because I was riding at the time.
Oh.
So I kept thinking like, well, I had a full day, and I would always go with girls at the barn. So I was always like, oh, I'm tired, like we'd go kind of late. So I would think like the next time I'll see it because it was a good movie. It just wasn't. But I fell asleep every time.
Yeah.
So I went. I was like, just put it this way. I left that movie theater, and I was like, I'm watching anytime this comes out. I knew from that moment I was a Harry Potter. I didn't read the books.
Yeah.
But I knew this is what I wanted to watch.
Did you read the books after?
No, I never read the books.
I just... Yeah, me neither.
It was one of those...
I skimmed them.
I had a lot of people say that it was so close. Like, it was really well done.
And I think that's because... what was her name? J.K. Rowling?
Right.
She wanted it that way. She's like, if you're going to make a movie, it's got to be...
as close as you can. Obviously, she was like, okay, I know it can't be exact.
Right.
But... it was like I read The Hobbit, I read Lord of the Rings. So when that came out, that was like almost spot on. There were some little things going, but I was like, yeah, I could have lived without those. I could have lived without within the book. So when I saw this, it was just like 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 is 4. Like, it just everything kind of was like, all right. So I walked away, and I remember saying one thing was I was a bit kiddish. And the person I was with, and I can't remember who it was, and if they want to yell at me and tell me it was me, I'd be like, oh, okay. But they were like, oh, no, like, each book, he grows up, and the writing and the plot gets so, like, deeper or darker, and then I was like, okay, I'm sold. And I was really sold at the time. Like, I wanted to, like... And a lot of people are like, oh, do you want to read the book? And I'm like, well, if I watch the movie, I'm one of those type of people, like...
You can't do it backwards.
I can't read a book because if I read the book, then my mind has things set, and then I go to the movie, and it's hard for me to kind of say, oh, the book was better, or let's say I read all the comics in my day, so when I watch like the Endgame, there was no Guardians of the Galaxy in the 90s, so it was Fantastic Four that was supposed to be in the like when I go to watch it, I'm like, oh, the Fantastic Four was better than the... And so was the X-Men. So it was always like, oh, that's just not... Like, it's good, but I have to kind of, like, come with new eyes, if you will. It could be like, okay, this is not what I read. This is not what it's going to be. And Harry Potter was one of those situations. And I know that's for me. I know some people, like, I read the book. I read the... like they read everything. They go online. They find all the spoilers. And I'm just like, no, I just want to watch the movie and enjoy the movie without... analyzing it, well, not comparing it, I should say, not analyzing, because I do analyze it. I was really like, when I watched it, I was really like, especially the second time, because the first time I remember just being like, this was boom, like my brain went, this is amazing. The second time I was like, oh, now I see what's going on. And then, like, I would say the third time I watched it, which was this time, which I was like, wow, I didn't realize there were so many clues of what's going to happen before it happened. And I was like, but I guess that's good for, like, kids. Yeah. So I looked at it a whole different attitude again. Because, like, they were playing chess and they were like, "Oh, this is Wizard Chess," which later on.
It's
I better say spoilers in case no one's seen it.
I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, maybe you shouldn't watch it.
You're not going to see it.
Right.
But for me, it was one of those things that I can literally sit here and say. And I remember going to your dad's house and seeing like friends, Lori, your old Ashley. She'd be so excited. I'm like, oh my God, it's coming out! Like, it's, oh my God, like I would be so excited for the next one to come out, just for the fact that it got darker.
Right.
It got, but in the first one, it's just really amazing how. Like, I watch it now, it's really 11-year-old kids. It's darker than when I first watched it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure it's because I've seen all 7 now, but I find it darker. Where when I first watched it, I found it like being too kiddish.
Well, it's probably because you know what happens too. And so that you can see the other parts that you probably missed in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Okay. I could go with that. I could see that. But I know there's a lot of things that I was just like, okay. I was like, it definitely changes my outlook on Harry, which I really was amazed by because he's so, like, first of all, I just love, like, I thought of my dad when I watched this because my dad always says to me, it's a movie. Because I always say, why would you do this? Like, why would you do this? And my dad says, it's a movie. Like, do you remember when the uncle, like, nails the plank to the, it's a 2x4, piece of wood to the letter, the letter slot. Right. He goes up and down. But it's sideways. Why wouldn't he put it sideways? Right. Like, and my dad's like, well, it's a movie now. It's like, it's not supposed to not.
I have something to criticize, too, about the movie.
Do you love this movie, or are we going to complain about it?
No, I like the movies.
No, I know.
I don't love them, but I like them. Okay. Like, I'll watch them.
Okay.
But it's not like I'm not going to go and sit there and watch 20 hours of it again.
Okay. I could. Like, I can't wait to watch the second one for our second one. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
But I can't watch them. Like, I can't watch them all in one day.
I watch them in 2. That was wrong.
I heard your mom
and
said.
If it wasn't for Ashley sitting next to me, I'm like, what's happening? I don't understand. Like,
oh, yeah, because Ashley lives and breathes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't quite get what's going on.
Okay, go ahead.
But there are certain things I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why is this happening? But then she would explain it. Where was I going?
I don't know. You were talking about complaining. You're going to complain.
Okay. So with all the magic, right?
Right.
How they can, like, zap things.
Zap things? Okay. All right. I'm
Why do we need to send mail by owls? Why can't we just zap it there?
Well, I would imagine in some ways there's limitation to magic. Like, these people aren't.
Okay, so you can tell me.
Well, the only no.
You're gonna say to me there's limitations,
right?
But you can walk into a wall and now you're in a different train station,
right? Because that's enchanted. That has a spell on it that someone doesn't have to keep.
So you can't put a spell on a letter to say, "Oh, this needs to go here." That doesn't make any sense.
Well, why would you not have, like, why don't you think the owls aren't enchanted, and then that's why you have to buy special owls, and they just go, and then you don't have to use magic. But why can't
you just do that to the letter?
Okay, I got something even better for you. Right? If you want to talk about things to complain.
Okay.
So when we first find Harry, him, his uncle and aunt, and Dudley look like a normal family. Like, and obviously Harry looks like he's got hand-me-downs, like crap clothes. Fair? Okay. Why do, when we go to the wizard's world with witches, do they all dress like medieval? Like, did anyone update their wardrobe? Think about that. Like,
yeah, I did.
Where Harry is in 2001. So he's not.
That's when it came out?
Yeah, it came out in 2001. Yeah. That's when the first one. So, well, I don't know when the book came out.
Yeah.
But so let's just say the book came out before then.
Yeah.
So let's say, and I know.
You might Somebody look it up and tell me.
Yeah, we need the Google person. Where's Ian? We don't have our Google person. I don't know when the book came out, but whatever the case is, would you say 90s? It would be somewhere in the 90s, like late 90s. Okay? Why is everybody dressed normally, and then in the wizard world, everyone's dressed like with
1997.
So yeah,
that book is that old.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So my question for you is, why doesn't like how does the world stop in that world, and then the plain world?
There are a lot of questions I have about the movie.
But
and like
but
why
I will say,
happen.
if I had a chance, I'd dress like Snape all the time though, because he had like
He's
stocks
badass.
on. He had stocks on. When the fire happens, he had stocks on. I was like, oh, that's badass. Maybe I don't mind wearing these old fashioned clothes. Like okay, I don't mind these little things, but there was things that I was just like, okay, I mean, obviously, I love the whole storyline. I mean, it's a storyline. I mean, that's the object of it, and I love the one point where like, I said this to Shannon when we were watching this. I was like, you would think of all the letters that have been coming in the last, what was it, like a week that it was coming, that Harry couldn't just grab one.
Right.
Like you couldn't grab one when he wasn't like. We had to wait till the very end when everything was shooting up. Where he grabbed one, he still couldn't open it. He had to wait till Hagrid had to come. Yeah. And I love the fact that when we're in a shed on an island, which I don't see a boat, and I don't know how they get on. Okay, that the mom and dad are sleeping upstairs. Not mom and dad, but the aunt and uncle. Dudley's sleeping on the couch. And then he's sleeping on the floor, and I love the fact that they had to make the floor so dirty that he can make the birthday cake.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's a nice touch that it's so dirty that even like he's like, this is gross. I'm just gonna put a birthday cake.
Happy birthday.
I don't know. It was really like, but see, that's the problem. When I first watched it, you don't think of that stuff. You just absorb everything.
And watching it now, like, I understand a lot more than, like, obviously when I was a kid.
Right.
Like, I didn't understand.
You look at it different, though.
Like, I didn't realize certain things happened until
watching because some of those things as a kid goes really over your head. That's why I will say I saw it as an adult. And I will probably say every time I watch it, my mind is a different place because I'm a different age. So I'm at a different point in my life where, you know... Even when and I know I'm jumping around here because I feel like everyone, and if you haven't watched it, you really have to watch. I don't want to really spoil, but I love the fact where, you know, Harry tells Hagrid, like, I can't do magic out of school. Like, you know, there's no magic. And it's like, all right, you were just born, you basically won the lottery and found out that, you were living poor underneath, like, stairs. Now you just hit the lottery. Now you have to go back. Now you lose it all and have to go back. And he was like, oh, no, I'm good. Like, I don't mind.
Why didn't he just go and stay with Ron the whole time? Like the Weasleys?
I think it's because he's 11. Think about it. See, you're looking at it again as a 20-some-odd, just like I look at 45.
And I get
that. But an 11-year-old doesn't...
But how... Okay.
No, go ahead.
So, he's living with the family, right?
Right.
His aunt and uncle.
Right.
And
they're
cousin,
miserable.
Whatever. Right. You mean to tell me that anyone who went in there didn't realize that all of a sudden, like where's Harry? Or like when they would go out, like, where's Harry?
Oh, yeah, like...
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he's at school, like, what school is he at?
Right. Well, I don't think...
Well, I guess...
I think the fact is I think it's the fact that if you really watch it and think about it...
I want a movie on their side.
Like, if you watch...
I want to see the background.
If you really think about that, if he's really not loved and really abused... Because think about it. Abused... He's not really known in the public anyway because Dudley's the one who's going everywhere, going to this high school, school at 11, which I'm trying to think because I know British schooling is different than ours. And I used to know it, and I don't remember exactly. But I find that he's going to go to a really good school because he's wearing the outfit in the episode. I mean, in the first movie. And then he's like, oh, where am I going to school? And he's like, you're going to public school. Like, you're going to public school, which they don't call public school. They call it something else. And he's like, oh. And he's like, what am I wearing? And she's dyeing Dudley's old school uniform in a pot. Yeah. And he's like, there'll be like elephant skin on me because Dudley's so much bigger than him.
Right.
And so I think the fact is they're going to two schools anyway. So I don't think people have questions
I guess
because
so,
one's going
yeah.
one way and one's going another. And he's pretty much, if you get his life, he's pretty much does chores and get locked
That's
away.
true. He's like Cinderella.
Yeah, that's
Hi,
basically
Kiki.
what he is. Hi. So, I know the podcast people are like, why do they say hi? Because we're on a live on the
Yeah.
Goofy Geek on Sundays. And then we post it on Tuesdays for
You're 2 days late to the game.
They're like, what? Well, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook, Goofy Geek.
I'll put the link down below on this one.
Oh, yeah. By the way, before I forget, our last one, you turned off all the comments.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
So
Uh-oh.
they did that. Like, I don't know like what happened, but I must have pressed something and then it shut it off. And I meant to like post something about it, but
Yeah, it happens.
yeah. And,
So-
and I tried to fix it, but I would have to like re-download the whole thing again, and I'm not about that
gonna do
life.
that. She's like,
It's like an hour to download.
yeah.
And you have to keep the computer on.
But yeah. So, I don't know. I love the first one, but I always feel like I always think the kids who grew up in that time have it all. It's like me with the Goonies. Like I was the perfect age when the Goonies came out because I was the same age. So I know a lot of people don't know what the Goonies are, but it's a bunch of kids who go for a treasure hunt, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
Right.
And I saw so many kids like, I want to be Harry Potter. I want the
It's
letter.
crazy how Harry Potter's still like loved. Like
How can
as
it not
much-
be loved?
no. I'm just saying like even like the new generation like they're still like
You
fully into
you
it.
can't not love Harry Potter because the fact that he's a nobody.
yeah.
He's being treated like absolute crap, which a lot of people that I'm not saying, but a lot of people will feel that way. Like I feel like I'm not. I don't want to say.
Really.
Hello. You're gonna like right in my eye. Thank you. Oh no! Don't rub on the microphone. That could be bad for us. But I think the fact is that this is a nobody kid who's a nobody. I mean, that's what he ends up saying. I'm a nobody. And then at the end of the day, he's a somebody.
Well, he's a nobody in one world, but in
Right.
another world, he lives 2 different lives.
Which I
He's
actually,
like Hannah Montana, but
which I
make it
relate
lizard.
to. But I relate to because in school I was a nobody, and then when I rode, I was one of the top riders, and everyone would talk to me, and it was the weirdest thing. I was like sitting all by myself at lunch, and then here I am. So it's like I think to myself like isn't that everybody though? I don't. Obviously, the coolest kids in school don't fantasize about A or B because they kind of live this life.
Right.
But I would imagine the geeks of like me or the outcasts, we kind of think like how. I mean, that's the story where I want to be. It's like, please tell me I'm adopted and it's gonna be a rich family that's really my mom and dad and take me away and I got millions of dollars and I can ask everything I want. I mean, isn't that kind of like certain dreams that I'm not saying everybody have, but like you fantasize about having, I'd love to get powers or like, maybe just me, maybe I did that stuff. Like I always thought to be that way. So, I mean, Harry Potter like fell into that, like perfect, you can be somebody and not be somebody. Because at the end of the day, he was a nobody.
Right.
The only thing that I didn't appreciate that I appreciate now rewatching them is how Harry Potter has a name for himself and he realizes that Harry Potter is just a name that he can't live up to. So he takes 2 other people, which is Hermione and Ron, and basically says, I can't be this Harry Potter. I'm only this Harry Potter.
Right.
And then it almost like it's...
Well, even in the last one, he they all like say like, I can't do this without you, or
Right.
you can't do this without me. Like
right.
we all need each
but
other.
it's already
and-
in the beginning.
Right.
Like in the very beginning, they fall like they do the whole quest tests, all the between the 3-headed dog Fluffy, and then they go down to the vines, and then the chess match,
Right.
and then like it's all like each one shines and have a moment of saying, and then by the end it's just not him. It's Neville. It's this. It's I know I'm talking about, and I know we're going to talk about all these movies,
Right.
but it's that's what I think if you watch each one of them, it's epic.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what makes it truly legendary is when you rewatch all of them, like in a certain amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
and not just every year. Like
Right.
like we got them. I don't know about you, but I remember going to the first one, waiting that year, going to the second one.
Well,
waiting
when the
that
first one came out, if it came out in 2001,
right.
I was 2.
Well, okay. Well, no, what I'm saying is you had to wait
Right.
that.
Right. I remember waiting for the couple of the last ones.
Right.
Like probably part 1 and part 2.
I saw them all in the movie theater except the
Mhm.
last one.
Really?
The person I was with would not go, and I didn't want to go. I was stupid. I was like, oh, I can't go by
I
myself.
thought you used to go to movies like by yourself all the time.
I have, but I always feel like when I go to the movies by myself, it's like eating alone. I always feel like everyone's kind of like.
Yeah, but I feel like you do that anyway. I thought you didn't care what other people do.
Yeah.
Think of you.
Yes, but I agree with that. I usually don't care, but I think when I go, like I went to go see the last Lord of the Rings by myself
Mm-hmm.
because I had the first one. I had just got married. My second one was when my ex-wife was pregnant with my son. And that was a disaster because I was like, oh, no, you shouldn't go. She's like, oh, I'll go with you. And the whole time she's like, I have to pee. So it's me trying to, she's like, are you going to come with me? And I'm like, no.
I'm not allowed in there.
Like,
you need help?
First of all, it's Lord of the Rings, so I'm not leaving. I already saw the first one 3 hours. And then the second one, I was going through a divorce. And I was an idiot because I was like, oh, I'm going to do this up. I'm going by myself. So I got a big thing of popcorn and I bought like 2 ices. And literally 2 hours and a half, I went, oh, I have to go pee. And I was like, I am not leaving. It's the last movie. I am not leaving.
You just
and
pee
I
in
was
the
like,
cup.
I almost did. I was like, I am committed. I was not going to leave that seat for all. No, I have, but it has to be something epic for me to go.
Yeah.
And I saw 7, I guess 7-1. Because 7's broken up into 2.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Part 1, part 2.
And I saw it and I was like, yeah, in the movie theater. And I went with somebody. And the last one was one of those things where I really wanted to go. I was going to go, but there was a lot of things that kind of happened. And I couldn't find someone. I had a lot of people like, yeah, I'll go. And then kind of cancel. And then it just kind of like went away. And I was like, all right. But I still saw it. Yeah. I mean, I still can live with the one at home. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as long as I got to see the ending. But I think...
I forgot who we went with, but we went with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I remember, like, there was like a... Like,
I
we
felt
had, like
like
a
that
whole
was
row.
it.
Like, I don't remember who it was. But
like I that was the jam. Like, I always felt like when it came to certain movies, like, I would sit down and it was like, oh, you're going to see this movie? Like, the whole crowd would go.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a different world now because I remember, which I will embarrass myself right now. I will talk about him. I know you didn't see this, but I saw E.T. and I
have seen it and I'm scarred.
Okay.
I can't do the finger.
Was like 4.
Uh-huh.
4. All I know is that my mom said as soon as E.T. went to go leave, I started screaming, no, don't go. And I started crying so hard that my mom had my jacket over my mouth because I was hyperventilating because I didn't want E.T. to go home. So, yeah, so I totally embarrassed myself right there. But that's actually, my mom will talk about that story where my father said, he actually Niles, knock it off. Niles, please stop. Please.
Yeah, I can't do that movie.
And I was like, oh, no.
That's one that you can talk about, but I won't rewatch that one. Sorry.
No. No, I'm okay now. Really?
Oh, no, that triggers.
Why?
I don't know. I can't do it.
Because don't you feel it's different now? Like when I was a kid, E.T. leaving was the end of the world. But now it's like you understand why.
It has nothing to do with that.
So
he's just the creepiest guy in the world. I get it. He's an alien.
How the hell did you watch Harry Potter then? Did you not know there's dragons? And what's up with the whole little goblins? Those were freaky. Those were creepy, man. And I love the actor who does them. That's the guy who plays the Willow. You never saw Willow. Here we go. It's me telling all these things, and you're like, nope.
I want to do The Hobbit next. I want to watch The Hobbit. Have you seen that one?
Yes, I've seen all those.
Okay. Okay.
I went to the movie theater with my dad. I have seen every...
How many Hobbits are there?
2.
Okay.
Excuse me, no, 3.
I was gonna say I thought there
There's
were
3. There's 3. I'm sorry.
Okay, I can do
I'm
it.
sorry.
I won't watch them all at one time.
I have seen The Hobbits with my dad, and I have seen every Star Wars ever made with my dad in the movie theater. And
That's how old you are.
That's how old I am. And my dad has come with me. I'm 45. My dad's about 70, and he has gone every single time there's a new one. He always says, "Are we going to see this one?" I say, "Yep." And we've gone. And
nice.
yeah, it's because obviously he dragged me to the first one, and he was like, well, "You have to see this."
That's how I felt with like Despicable Me and stuff. I'm like, who's coming with me? Because I need to watch it.
Right.
And I don't know why. Like it's like.
That's how I was with Harry Potter, though.
Yeah.
Like I got the itch. I know we keep jumping from other movies, but it's like the itch. Like you just get the Harry Potter, and you go, okay, watch the first one. All right, that was good, and you just keep thinking like this 8 more books. Like, well, you didn't know that at that point. Like, there's another book, and it didn't end there. You're like, oh. They're like, oh yeah, but the next book. Right. What's the one? Which one's the Half Prince? Because I remember like everybody Half Blood.
I think that's 5.
Because I remember everyone telling me like, oh, this book got so dark. Like this went this went to a new place. Like I always felt like I had someone who read the book that had to like throw in my face, and I'd be like, okay, don't tell me. Like the movie's gonna come out. Like, but the movie might not be good. So let me tell you. But like, no. Do not tell me.
I'm leaving.
No, because it was like that. It was like I don't want to have that judgment, because I guess I already had that judgment because of the comic books. So, but I've learned, I guess at my age, where I have thought to myself, okay, there's 200 comic books like in this series. How are you going to make that into a movie? Like you're going to take just certain plots. So there's certain little storylines that will never be mentioned, and it's like sometimes those are the best storyline, but you know it's got to go. You know. So when I went to go see it, I fell in love. I knew I loved it. I loved the whole. But I did walk away saying that was a little kiddish for me, because I was obviously already an adult. I was already married. I had to be in my late 20s. So I was already like, oof, that was, I don't know about this. And then, but I liked it. So I liked it. And then I was told, well, it gets a little darker. And I was like, okay. Like, you know, and then the next one came out and I was like, this, a Chamber of Secrets, I believe was the next one. And I was like, okay, all right, now we got a little something here. And it was the fact that they were kids. The only thing I do like to watch is all their hairstyle changes, because I remember when they
we were talking about that. Ashley and I were like, oh my god, like he looks the best in this one, and like then he just cut it all. Like I like him with longer hair.
When they were all doing the Justin Bieber like long hair kind of squish. Yeah. Okay.
I like Ron. Like he needs like a little bit shorter. That'd be fine. But like Harry looks better with long hair. And then he chopped it all off, and like, what is going on?
I think the object was that he was trying to be an older, like he was about time.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but like, it was also like the style for that time
was changing.
Yeah, but you can tell like when each thing was made.
You can watch
by
them all
hair.
grow up, and then you're just like,
like Hermione's hair is like a frisball in the beginning, and then it's like it's so long.
Yeah, it's so long. And I remember she's walking, and I kept thinking, because I know they put wires in there to make him like frizzy, because that was the object. Because when I guess in the book she's supposed to have really frizzy hair, just like I know in Neville Longbottom they actually put stuff behind his ears, like wires to actually make his ears stick out more. And you're just like, oh, and then you're like, oh, and then you see him at the end, and I'm like, oh, like he looks so different, like because they grow up, which is even weirder. And I don't know if you remember, but I remember the scare when they were talking about the actors not coming back. Like not coming, like, you know, like they might change Harry Potter to a new kid. I'm like, no.
I'm trying to think.
Don't do that.
I feel like I maybe heard of that. Like
they didn't, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, again, when you go to rewatch it, I don't know, I'm a sucker, and I'm going to tell you right now. The whole Snape story, it kills me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched him in the beginning, and I remember like as I'm watching, going, "You're such a badass. Like you're awesome. You're awesome." Even though you think he's the main bad guy in it, you're just like knowing what
He's
I
like,
know. You're just
yeah.
like, "You're awesome, dude. You're awesome." But I remember seeing there going, "Who's this guy? He looks a bad guy." And of course, he had played bad guys in movies that I had seen.
Right.
So I just assumed he was going to be.
R.I.P.
I know.
That's sad.
He was a great actor.
Yeah.
Excellent actor. And I was like, "Oh, this guy's going to be the evil. Like this is it." And he ends up being like at the end you realize he's not.
He's like the nice guy.
Well, no.
Well, he's like
Even
he's
at the end of the
protecting
movie,
Harry.
even at the end of that movie,
Right.
he's like, "What are you talking about? Snape was doing the counter spell, and this was doing
Right.
this," and you're like, "Oh, okay, I get it now."
Yeah.
But did you ever realize how they talked about that whole Quidditch thing? I never realized. He's like the twins go up and they're like, "Oh yeah, someone hasn't died in at least 10, like in a decade," and oh well, someone had gone missing for like 3 months, and I was literally like,
How is
okay,
it still a
if I
sport?
was 11,
Right.
and here I am being the seeker,
Right.
that I just become the youngest like in a century, and I have never watched the game. That's the stuff that I don't get. Like he's never watched a game.
Right.
They keep
But
talking
he's
to him.
so fantastic at it.
They keep talking to him about A and B, and he's like, "Nope, I don't know," or this or that. And then I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know about you, but I'd be freaked out. Like, and then he's like, "Oh, are you nervous?" He's like, "Yeah, that's okay. I was nervous, and I was knocked out for 3 days because a plunger hit me in the head." And I'm like, okay, I'd be taking my broom and be like, "Out, guys, I'm out."
Right.
And then he's out there just sitting there while the game's going. And I'm going, like, I don't think anyone really prepared. Like, when they do the little quick thing, like, oh, okay, there's little hoops over there. This is, you remember when, I can't think of his name now. But he goes through, like, the box of everything. And they're like, oh, and then your job is to come up to this little golden... and you're like, and he's like, oh, yeah, but they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, but he still hasn't explained the whole game here.
Right.
Like,
I still don't know how it works.
I'm like, and then I'm thinking, is it in the book? And then I'm like, did someone actually read all the rules in the book? Like, I don't think I would do that. I mean,
Is
like,
it a
well,
real sport?
because I don't want to. So here's the thing: they're scoring, but whoever gets the snitch wins instantly. So what happens if no one gets it?
Right.
So what's the point of having the score?
Is it timed?
I don't know.
I don't think
That's
it is.
what I'm talking about.
I know
and
the score.
I know somebody out there is watching or listening to us who'll say, yes, on page 54 of the first book, there is.
It's got to be a little farther in there.
Whatever. Like I thought somebody said there was like a whole book of like a whole giant Quidditch.
I'm sure there is.
Match.
There's
that
a
they
book
talk
for
about.
everything.
And I'm like, so I just, like, I'm a fan, but I'm not a super fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I consider those people super fans.
Yeah.
Because they'll say frame 5, episode, whatever, and they'll know.
Like down to the second, too.
Right.
Yeah.
And they'll know, like, or the book, page, blah, blah, blah. And if you go
Paragraph
back.
6.
It has a little mark that you go back and, in the back
It's
of
actually
the book.
marked the rules.
And then you go back and you read those. Those are the fans that I respect.
Yeah.
Because those are the people who talk and I'll go, okay, it all makes sense now. Like,
Yeah.
I'll learn something from them.
Right.
Those are the people that I want me to tell. Like, tell me what
Right.
you... Because for me, I'm just like, what now? Say what? Because I'm like, all right, so this whole game is... Because the guy's hitting the little counter. So it's 2020 at one point, and then that's when Harry lands up getting it, like catching it in his mouth.
Right.
But I'm always like...
Which I didn't know was a main detail at the end of the story.
See, that's what I'm telling you. You have to go back and, like, when you go back, like, I know a lot of people say, what's your favorite? And I always say, like, 7, part 1 and part 2. And they say, why? Because basically
It all adds up.
7, 1, and 2 is basically... movie 1, 2, 3, 4, like everything adds up, even to a point where in the very instant of the movie, very beginning of the movie, is Dumbledore coming out and does that little lighter thing where all the light gets, and I'm like, hey, that's the thing that he like. I didn't even know that was even in the movie because I don't remember it. And I'm like, oh man, that's good. That's good writing. That's good. Like, it's in the book. I'm sure it's in the book, but that's good. Even the point where someone doing the movie says, "Hey, we got to have ABC because this is going to happen and that didn't even happen because the book 7 wasn't even out.
Right.
So someone had to really sit there with her, or she did this, which I probably give her all the credit, but sit down and say, okay, I see this in episode 1, book 1. I use this. This has to come back in 7. And it's just like, I mean, even down to the, he gets the cloak, the invisible cloak, which comes back in set. Like, it's like
everything. This is a big loop.
Like, all of it. And if you think about it, it's a big loop and a tiny loop because they had played the chess game. They had talked about the vines.
And I appreciate that in a movie.
Right.
Where if you just, like, have, like, this happened in this movie, and then, like, the next movie has nothing to do with it. Right. Like, what's the point of the sequel?
Right.
Like, you're just wasting my time. Bring it all together.
Right. Well, I can live with... you're kind of right on that and kind of wrong. Because this group, in this book, movie, whatever you want to put it, because I didn't read the book, but it's like hint 1 is in movie 1. Hint 2 is in movie 2. And then in 7, it says, here's all of it. And we're going to squish it all together. And now you're going to know why everything's here. And I like movies like that because you're driving to something that, the only thing that I didn't like about the movie, and I know this is where I'm going to get a lot of people writing bad things and hating me and taking my geek card because I only got one person watching the live, so I'm pretty safe for saying this now. So, is that Voldemort never, like, all he cared about was
Voldemort
was all about, like, A. Like, it wasn't a bigger thing. He didn't want to take over the whole world. He didn't want to take over, like, it was all about just purifying the wizard world. It was never about the Muggles world. It was never, like, he was really, if you think about every villain there is in anything in the world, or any books or anything, like, it's always a bigger picture. And his bigger picture was all about the school, the wizard, like, oh no, I'm going to draw a blank now. Like the main office where all the wizardry decisions would come out of. I can't think what it's called, and someone's going to correct me, and that's fine. Ian's not here today, and it's ruining it for me because usually he's correcting me. And someone's on the podcast going, "You're an idiot," and they're talking along when they're listening because I know I do. Right. You're like, "It's this. Come on, it's this." But it's really small. Because he doesn't want to take over the Earth. Doesn't want to take over the rest. He just wants to... Now, I know he wants to expand it, the Wizarding world. I'm not saying he doesn't. But it just kind of seems like he stays within that small area. Think about it. His army's huge, but he attacks the school. But besides that, I love the whole storyline. And we haven't even got to... That best part is we haven't even got to the main story of how he, like, separates his hearts. And, like, we haven't even got to all the good stuff. We just know that this is a bad guy who tried to kill Harry. And we haven't even got, like, we don't know why. We don't know, like... And it leaves off, and you... I don't know about you, but for me, I legitimately felt like I had more questions than I did answers after the first movie. Like, I walked away in the very first movie, the very first time, going, all right, so we still don't know who this guy is. We know he's a bad guy, but why was he trying to kill? Right. Like, why was the Potters? Like, but what was Potter? Like, what was the father and mother? What were they? They weren't senators. They didn't seem to be magic. Like, what was, they just lived... Even when you see them attack the house and they're ripping, like, they knock down the door, it's a normal house. It's not even a mansion. It's not even like, so what's special about these people? So when you think about the movie in that direction, when you walk away, you say to yourself, like I did, I was like, it was a great movie, but I'm still, there's so much I don't get. Right. because I'm like, okay, it's 11-year-old kid. He has a scar. Like, everyone says he's like this guy, this person, but you have no clue anything about. Like, I don't have a clue about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, besides that he's this legend. And then I love when Snape lands up doing the questions, like, oh, do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? He's like, no. And Hermione's like, ripping her arm off, trying to raise her hand. And then at one point he's like, why don't you just ask Hermione? She clearly knows and I don't. And then it becomes
well, it's like it's weird that like everyone keeps asking him like why don't you know that? Like he's like, I just learned that I was a wizard like 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Like obviously I'm not going to know everything.
Right.
And it's like throughout the whole thing they're like, why don't you know that?
It's like again, this is what society does, and I love that's in the book. They rise you up to make you fail.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're this legend, and then when they meet you, you're not a legend. You're just a person. You're just, there's nothing special. Well, obviously, there's something special about Harry Potter.
Right.
We all know there's something special about Harry Potter, but he doesn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been treated like garbage for the last 11 years. That's the part we don't understand is Harry's been garbage for 11 years. He's a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that when Weasley comes in, Ron, and he's like, basically like, I have no money. He takes out, and I don't even know what it was. Remember when he's on the train and he takes out when the candy cart comes and he's like, I'm all set. It looked like someone had taken a sandwich and just smashed it in the bag. Like, I was like, that's the grossest thing. Like, it was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that someone just went, all right, Ron, here you go. Here's your lunch. And he's like, yeah, I got my lunch. And I'm like, that is nasty. Like, we all know that one kid in school who like threw their lunch and then threw all their books in. And then it was like, like you're laughing. Was it you? Were you that kid? And then you take it out and you're like, what is that? Oh, it's a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like Play-Doh. Like, I don't even know what it is. It's all
that's 2 drops of water away from a smoothie.
Yeah, you could drink it. No, I'm serious. Did you have kids in school? Yes, you know what I'm talking about. So they would come in with their plastic bag that was like all smashed up because they threw everything into their locker.
Right.
And then they would open up this bag, and I'm looking at this going, is that even edible? And then Harry's cool enough to go. Harry goes, yeah, I'm not eating that. I'll take the whole lot, and whips out like the gold. Like, and I just love the fact that he just reaches in, and he doesn't even know how much it is. He just whips out the whole handful and be like, just leave the cart, bitch. Go.
Right.
Just leave the cart. Move along.
And they're like binge eat it.
And I know they're like, and did you see what he was eating? Like he
fucking nasty.
Like they were mixing candy. Like I don't know about you, but I'm one of those. I'm fanatic. Are you fanatic about candy?
I don't really eat candy,
okay.
but like if I'm gonna eat it, it's gotta be like one thing.
Like I eat gummy bears, or like that's my jam lately. It's gummy bears. Okay, but I have to eat like 3 greens and then 3. Like, I have to have the same. I can't just take a handful and put it in my mouth.
When I eat M&Ms, it has to be an even amount.
Okay, well, M&Ms all taste the same. I'm talking about like Skittles. Can you grab Skittles?
Those taste the same.
Skittles
They're the same flavor.
Skittles.
Yes. We will have to do this one time. I'll blindfold you, and I'll put 2 in front of you.
That's
or
fine.
I'll put 1 in front of you.
That's fine. We'll do this because
it's all a scent thing.
That's like, well, but I will vouch for one thing. In my day, Fruit Loop did taste different.
Okay.
Well, now they all taste the same. They all taste, but in my day, it used to be lemon. Like they used to have the different flavors.
Right.
But Skittles are not the same.
They are.
They are not.
We are going to do this.
Okay, it's on. Right. So
it's to confuse you.
I can't. Okay. So, were you saying gummies all the same?
No.
Okay.
Just Skittles.
So if I give you a bag of gummies, do you just put your hand in there and grab and just put it like whatever flavors in your hand, or do you grab?
I only like certain flavors.
But you eat
like
those
the green
flavors.
Ones.
Okay, so you eat the green, which is strawberry in most of them, or if you get like the fancy ones, sometimes it's like green apple, or like the ones I have
only
is
really like green apple stuff.
Okay, so
or like the yellow ones, what are those? Pineapple?
Those are the white ones.
The white ones, yeah, those are good.
All right, so
anyways.
But do you only grab 1 green, or do you like try to grab like 4 or 5 that is on top?
I don't know.
How do you not know? Are you okay? Jesse, you're killing me.
This is so unrelated. What are we talking about?
But I'm saying is that that Ron is sitting there putting like chocolate, gummy, like he's putting like 5 different types of candies in his mouth, and I'm sitting there going, "And what flavor are you eating now?" Like that's got to be gross.
Well, isn't there like a frog one too?
Well, yeah. Well, that's
a toad or something.
That's a good one. They talk about the jelly beans, and they were like, "Oh, remember like they're like, oh." Ron says that his brother one time got, was it vomit or no? Yeah, vomit or something, or earwax or something.
Whatever it is.
Whatever. And he's like, oh, he won't eat him anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you clearly know he eats one at a time. Like he's just not grabbing a handful and shoving it in his throat. But this guy, Ron, is sitting there eating a gummy.
Well, he always eats like that. He always like binge eats everything.
Yes,
Did you notice that?
Yeah, no, I know because
Hermione brings it up.
Just for the record, the first feast, I paused it and I looked at Shannon and I say, I'd be 1,000 pounds because I'd be like, because I mean, there's chicken wings, there's like, and then all of a sudden it's like desserts, like it all disappears and then desserts comes, and I'd be like, I don't know how these kids aren't puking because I'd be like. I'd be shoveling that stuff right in. I'd be like, they were like, dude, it's not going anywhere. I know. That's my problem.
I'm not a dessert fan, so I don't see. Skittles are the same
flavor. It's all about the colors that make you think. Okay.
Thank you,
so
Shannon.
See, Shannon's defending.
We should do it right now.
We're
going to
do
Skittles?
No.
Should I run and grab them?
We're not doing that right now. But they are different flavors.
They are not.
Okay.
I will blindfold you.
Okay. All right. And you're probably right. So I'll just. Gummy bears aren't, so
no,
I know
they are
that.
Not. It's just Skittles.
Or jelly beans aren't, and I always separate my jelly beans and my.
See, I only like the green ones.
Oh my gosh! Do you like the red ones? You don't like the red ones either?
No.
So you don't buy gummy bears because like you only eat one out of like 10,000.
They hurt my belly.
Yeah, I can only have a few.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but when they do that,
I'm more of like a chip person. Like I'll eat chips all day.
No, you know what I am? What? I'm like a meat and potato. Like I can eat meals all the time. Like I don't really like snack food. I like meals. Like again, with I could have like that tray of just all chicken. Remember when Ron is seeing that double fisting all the chicken? Like that'd be me. Like, and I'd be like, oh, I'm hungry. I go downstairs and grab more chicken.
Right.
The next morning, I'd probably grab more chicken.
Yeah.
But I did love in the movie where his mom Ron made like the sweater with the big R, and then Harry's later on in blue with the big H. Like,
we all had something like that.
We all had those. I used to have my initials.
That doesn't surprise me.
And I have it. My dad actually has this, which shows Shannon, which she'll be my proof, is that I literally have like 4 years, which is the same sweater and the same. It's not the same sweater. Like as soon as I outgrew it, I had to buy the same sweater again because I was fixated with the sweater. So like I had it in like extra small, medium.
Yeah.
It kept growing, and it was like okay, another one. But I don't know if you remember.
I do that with shoes.
Oh,
I buy the same shoes, like white Vans. Wear those all the time. I just bought a new pair because they were nasty.
I actually just saw some in the garbage when I threw my gum away. Is that your old? Wait a minute, just for the record, they're white Vans. Did you expect them not to be nasty?
No, but they were like bad. They were bad.
She's like, they're bad. How bad were they?
They were bad.
They're like black.
They were. Oh, and I want you to notice something when you watch the next ones.
Okay, right.
There are 2 things.
Okay.
So the first one is the Warner Bros. Sign. Each movie, it gets darker and darker and darker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, look for that.
I will look for that.
And the other thing is...
So is the last movie you can't see it?
No, you can see it. It's just dark.
I can't believe you fell for that. Go ahead. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead. Go on.
And the other thing is, so each time, so Voldemort, his soul dies in each movie, right?
Right. Not each movie, but every time they do a...
Look at his robe. every time one of his souls dies.
Oh, okay.
Because it starts out really dark green.
Right.
And then each time it
It's
gets lighter.
green?
And
I thought it was black.
I thought it was too, but I looked it up. Well, Ashley actually sent it to me, but it's dark green.
Oh, Ashley told me. She's Google. She's Harry Potter Google.
But it starts out dark green.
Right.
And then it's lighter and lighter throughout each movie.
Oh.
Look for that too.
I will look at that. We're not even there yet. He just flew away as a ghost.
Yeah.
But smoke or whatever it is.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I love how every movie like, oh my god, he's back. I'm like, he never left. Never left.
No, I love the fact that in the first movie, everyone accepts it that he's back.
Yeah.
And then there's that one movie where the magic of ministry. Oh no, that's said no. It wasn't. It wasn't him.
Wizardry?
What?
Is it wizardry or
wizardry? I don't know.
Because ministry is like, isn't that like marriage?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's wizardry.
Okay, I'm going with that. Whatever. I didn't read the book.
What were you saying?
But they said it wasn't back. They said he wasn't back later on. Like this is later on.
Really?
Like they. Yeah, okay. Did
I
you not see
that.
the movie?
No, I told you.
This thing on. Didn't you just say you binge watched all?
Yeah,
of them?
20 hours. That's a lot to like retain.
Then why would you watch them all at once?
Because I thought we were going to talk about all of that.
Well, we kind of are talking about all of them, but this is the first one. Then the second one, we're going to be like 1 + 1 = 2. You know? Oh my gosh, you're killing me. That's so funny. She's like, I Googled it. No, I didn't. Ashley told me. Because you know Ashley's probably listening going, I told her that.
She would. She'd totally call me out.
She's going to be like, bloop, bloop. I'm surprised she's not typing right now. That's
She's
lying.
probably at work. Well,
Yeah.
what time is it now? 7?
Oh, yeah, a little after 7. We're almost there, though. We're almost. We only got 9 minutes, so make it work.
Oh, do you want to do these?
All right, go ahead. Some news. So we have a new feature.
New segment.
Yes, a feature. Segment. Where we're going to talk about some crazy, funny news. I think they're not all geeky, but I thought, now these are real news things that I found off the internet that have happened. And just for the record, somehow most of this has happened in Florida.
And I don't think any of us are surprised by that.
But yeah, I wrote some of these down because I really found them like
what?
Like what? Like I wanted to get your response to some of these. So
you should have just waited. You should have told me them later, like as we were doing, so you get my real time response.
Yeah, well, I still trust me. You're still gonna have a response. You're still gonna have a response. All right, go ahead, throw them out.
So the first one is Florida man beats ATM, says it gave him too much cash.
See, that's what I don't get.
Like, why would you be mad?
Well, first of all, if it gives you too much cash, like you can't spend it because they're going to, like, that's the thing. Free money isn't free money. When they put money in your bank account, you can't spend it and be like, well, it's a mess up, and they're going to, like, now you have to pay it back.
Well,
so, but I wouldn't beat an ATM. So I'm pitching this beat down was like, like for him to get arrested.
Who won? I want to know.
For him to get arrested, for it to be a story,
right.
He had to actually do damage to this.
Right.
Which there is no need to do damage for this. I don't know how.
I want to see like the bystanders.
How angry? No.
Like what do you think?
My question is the people walking by.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, do you stop and just go?
How long? How long do you wait before you're like, all right, maybe you should stop?
No, I'm watching the whole thing. I'm watching the whole thing.
Are you the one calling the cops? Or
nope.
You just watching?
Nope. I don't want to ruin the moment. I want to see this guy totally go crazy. I just want to see him grab a chair, grab a plant, grab a mailbox, whatever is next to it, and just beat the hell out of it.
Right.
Just be like, "You're on camera, you idiot." And I would be too, because I'll be behind him going. So if you see me at the 6 o'clock news going,
they interview you.
They're like, "Sir, we saw you stand there the whole time." I was like, "Yeah, this guy went crazy. This guy's going crazy on the ATM. I wasn't gonna stop him. Hey, what do you want me to do? Hey, guy, knock it off." Right. I was like, "This is entertainment." Right. They're like, "Sir, shouldn't you video it?" Be like, "I have a flip phone. I'm sitting here just enjoying the show. I'm disappointed there's no popcorn."
All of a sudden, whips it out.
That'd be me. I'd be like, That would be me. I'm sorry. I'm like, no one's really getting hurt except the guy.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it'd be different if it was a person or something.
Right.
Like, but
Right.
if it's him just beating up something, I'm watching the whole thing. I don't care.
Oh my God.
What are you telling me? What would you be like, sir? Can you calm down?
No, I would walk away. Well, I would laugh, be like, what the hell is going on? And like slowly walk away.
I'm not me. I'm sitting down on something. I might hand him something.
Oh, here, try that.
Give him like the plant, like one of those. Here's a garbage can, those like metal garbage cans. But like, yeah, okay. Cops like, you were helping him. Nope. I was just trying, just happened to be here and be like,
Right.
here's the can. Here's the can. Can't get me in trouble. Like, you didn't stop it. I'm like, I'm not the one breaking it. This guy's psycho.
Right.
This guy's psycho.
Mm-hmm.
You don't stop psychos
Right.
unless they're hurting people.
Right.
Like, then it's, or children or stuff like that. If it's a
Right.
machine,
It doesn't have feelings.
the best is
The
when
little
those.
speaker.
The best is, see, I'd be there for one reason only. For the guys, have you ever seen this? And there's tons of episodes of like on YouTube of this stuff when the guy goes to hit something, it comes back and hits them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm there for. I'm there for that moment when the
Something's
guy
gonna
gets so
pop
mad
open.
that it like comes back and
Right.
hits him,
Right.
and I'm done. I'm just like, thank you for your service.
That
I'm
was
gonna
enough.
leave. That was my entertainment because now you have a big gash on your forehead for
Right.
just being that stupid.
Right.
Because someone gave you more money instead of waiting and then going back and just giving it back to the bank.
Right. Oh my God. All right, so the next one is Florida man on drugs kills imaginary friend and turns himself in. You know what that reminds me of?
No, what does that remind you of?
The SpongeBob episode
Oh God, this SpongeBob. I can't with you. Okay, so
where they steal a balloon, right?
Oh yes.
And then they turn themselves in.
And it's free balloon day.
Like, what do you do? Just like lock them in.
So
for
wait a minute.
half a
So
second?
there's my question for you of this because see, I try to think of this logically.
Uh-huh.
So was the imaginary friend there before he did the drugs, or does he take drugs and then imaginate someone, and then kills them and then
Right.
thinks it's a real person?
And like, what are you actually killing in that? Like, what?
Yeah, but
like,
if the drugs are
No,
making you think
I
someone's
get
there,
that, but like, what is your body actually physically doing
it's
if you're on drugs?
right. You're hallucinating, obviously.
No, and I get that, but if you're killing someone, like you're obviously like in that
Moment,
moment.
yeah.
But like, what
It's
are you
just
taking
you're
to
killing
kill?
air. You're just like strangling him, strangling air. Or I don't know how he killed him. He might have shot him.
Right, maybe.
He might have like the thing is though, I think the guy should get just credit that he turns himself in.
You think so? Turned himself into the wrong place.
I don't know. I don't know. For me, I'm sorry, but I kind of see that. I totally think for me, it totally would be a imaginary. It's imaginary, and
Right.
he's turned himself in because he feels guilty. So he's a good person.
Yeah,
Because clearly the imaginary friend just pushed too
Mhm.
far.
but so would they arrest him for being on drugs then?
No,
Do you think?
no, you can't. There's no law saying you can't be on drugs. You just can't sell drugs. That's
Okay.
the little loophole that. Think about it. You can't. You don't get arrested for being on drugs. You get.
I guess you'd have to do something.
Yeah, but you
on
didn't
drugs.
really. Yeah.
Like driving while into
Right.
under the
But if
influence
you
or
turn
whatever.
yourself in, they probably were just like, "All right, we're gonna lock you up, and you're just gonna sleep this off."
Right.
And the next day, but then he has to live with the guilt the next day that his imaginary friend's gone.
Do you think he hallucinates the imaginary friend next time he does drugs?
Well, what if it was imaginary friend? So maybe he had it already before the drugs.
Maybe he's not actually dead.
That's what I'm saying. It was all a ploy for him to
I think
be
we're thinking
arrested.
too far into it.
This is like Gone Girl. She just acted like he was dead.
Oh my god.
All right, well,
All right.
we're almost done anyway, so
Wanna do
we'll
one
just
more?
wait. All right, one
Okay.
more.
Okay. What's the one? Florida man. What is that? Nearly a dozen has nearly a dozen zoo animals in his apartment.
Yes. Yes,
How?
I don't even like.
Let's
this
talk
is-
about the elephant in the room.
So here's my thing. Like, I don't understand anyone who has
How did he get him up there?
like zoo, and I don't know. Well, I just don't. I respect people who have like exotic animals, but I always think to myself is like, why do you need a zoo? Like, and I'm not trying to be rude to people, but like, why do you need a zoo in your room? Like, there's people like, oh, I have an alligator, I have a tarantula, I have a snake, I have a da-da, and I like they'll go through the list. I'm like, and why do we have all these? Oh, they're my pets. Okay, like I
guess
don't know.
I could say the same about you having a dog.
Well, yeah, but I don't have 16 different breeds running in my house. Like, you know, like I get it. I get the greatness of having certain things, but I think like, you know, if you have 3 animals,
I think it's just a brag thing.
If you have 3 animals, that's one thing. But if you have like a small zoo in your house, I always think to myself like, why are you going a little far now? Aren't we going a little bit too far with these things? I don't know. That's how I think of it. I know some people are like, no, you can't have enough. I mean, there's somebody out there who has freaking tiger. I mean, there's a tiger, that whole show about people who have tigers, and you're like, okay.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't
Tiger
watch
King?
That. I didn't watch that.
It's white trash. Like right up there with Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah.
Which I love that show too.
Oh my god, I don't watch. I just watch the commercials and I just go.
I wish it was still on just for the.
Oh, they do. They
it's
have
like a train.
They have the mama,
a train crash.
whatever it is.
Mama June.
Mama June show.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I do know that.
I have to see Law and Order. I watch all the time, and then the commercials. That's how I know. About
Yeah, but
Mama
it's
June.
not the same thing. Like
I know she went to jail. It's not the same.
Okay, but it's not like because it's not like their lives, right? It's just her
it's
show.
their lives.
Is it?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my God.
They were all freaking out. She was going to jail, and she's like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." I don't know. I think everybody has a taste. I can't do reality shows. I'm not a big reality show fan.
I'm not either, but like it's just one of those. Like even my dad hated it, but he would start watching it, and then he 3 hours later he's like, "What am I doing?"
You want to
and
know
he's a
this?
sucker for 4 weddings. Say yes to the dress. Like,
I just
he's a sucker
want
for
to
those.
throwing your dad under the bus here. Just
That's fine. He knows.
I just want you to know.
It's great when he puts his opinion
I
in.
can't watch those shows at all because I literally feel like 16 was
16
it
pregnant?
Yeah, all those shows I walk away and I literally feel like I'm dumber. I'm dumber from that. Like I don't feel like I learned anything. Yeah. Besides that, I was like, yeah, okay, I learned that too, but I learned not to do that, so I didn't do it the 5th or 6th time. Like I don't know, and I know everybody. Some of it is like I just think like too much. It's too much. Like we're jumping on people's like mess ups or like faults. We all make mistakes in lives, and we don't need to be pointing it out. Like you can mess up too. You know, we all mess up. We all sometimes have children not prepared for it. Sometimes it is prepared. Sometimes family members do something dumb and they pass away or what have you. Like we all make mistakes. I hate shows that really just have to like show it. Like we know it. Like it's life. And I feel like when we show it, we make like a mistake like positive, or it's like, hey, look, I screwed up, I'm going to jail, but I'm making lots of money on a TV show. Like, like, okay, I don't get it. Like, I feel bad for her. I feel bad that she went and did all the operations and, she made herself look real beautiful. And then she ended up getting another, like, guy who's no good because she's going to jail. Like, I don't know what happened, but it's like she tries to fix herself and then she's right back there it is. And it breaks my heart because I just get like, like this has become a circus. I feel like it becomes a circus when it doesn't need to be. Just like I've never watched the Kardashians. I've watched one episode. And I just felt like, okay, we're talking about real life, and everyone had their judgments. They were all arguing. I was like, all right, so she thinks that way. Who cares? She's an adult. She has a child, and that's way up. Walk by, kitty. Drive by. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of those. Yeah. That's me though.
I don't like most of them, but like I said, those ones are hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is our last. So the next one will be the next movie, which is Harry Potter and the
Chamber of Secrets.
Chambers.
All right, we're done.
Chambers of Secrets, and we'll see everybody next time.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming, and have a good night.